Hey there, friendlies. How's up? I hope you can hear me. I do believe you can because I have the 48K button pressed this time. I hope I was playing drum Boron long enough to get you over the advertisement that YouTube inevitably shows us. I'm just going to do a few housekeeping things before we start, but of course you guys are fully aware that that's what I do. First off, if you are watching us time shifted to tomorrow, next week, a month from now, fabulous. You're my hero. I love it when people do that. I love it when people are commenting after the fact, watching the whole thing. There's a couple of you who are very, very good at coming back every week, and I love you guys for that. For those of you who are hanging out with me, hello. I will do the usual individual hellos as soon as I can. While I am pouring a whiskey for later, I will also. This has been open, right? Yes, definitely. I do want to say that at any point tonight, if you like what you are seeing, then please do me the favor of hitting that happy thumb. If at any point tonight you kind of don't like what you're seeing, that's all right. Hit the frowny thumb. I won't take it too personally. Little dram. What I am drinking in terms of the dramage a little later is the Jameson Caskmates. This is the stout edition because the IPA version makes me dry heave. In terms of the beer for tonight, it is Bistrot Le Don Sucré Russe. This is a red ale, or I guess in English, do you call it a red or a brown? This is very, very small batch. So a small batch, you can only buy it at the cider. What the hell is it called in English? Not a cider place, orchard, where I bought this. So what do I want to talk about tonight? This is actually an idea that sort of came from a riff that was going on in the conversation over at Russell's Discord. For those of you who don't know, which is like no one in the side chat right now, Russell is Raspberry Rock Outdoors. Let's get a good pour going here. Russell's pours are always so damn good, and mine are always so terrible. There we go. What do you think of that, guys? Aside from the fact that the camera doesn't focus on more than one thing. But hey, the picture quality is so much better than the old one that I'm willing to. It's kind of heady, but not too bad. Where were we? You know what? Let's just say hi to everyone who's joined us. I hope that most of you were watching Dennis's live stream tonight. That looked fabulous. I started watching. I asked a question and then didn't even get to see if the question was answered because I have a preteen daughter. And everything went kablooey. But anyways, all is well now. And life goes on. So who we got? We got Russell in the house. I like what you're doing over at Dennis's live streams, mister. That's really good. For those of you who don't know, Raspberry Rock helps out with Dennis's live streams by sort of working behind the scenes. StreamYard has a new Teams feature that allows you to have sort of a producer behind the scenes. When I saw the term Teams, I thought they were just trying to get into the Microsoft Teams space, so I didn't even check it out. Now I feel stupid because I would have liked to have set something like that up for my streams. Canadian, yes, you were indeed the first to wave tonight, I think. Were you? No, Russell beat you to it. How are you both doing? Lipstick Lodge in the house. Nice to see you. Nice to see Grace Martin hanging around with us. Ian the Web Lord. It's always good to see your name in the side chat as well. Charles W. Hi, how's it going down where you live? Nice little crew we got so far. SV Raven Flintlock, always nice to see you. You missed Dennis. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch him tomorrow. At lunchtime or something. Do you guys hear what's going on? I have no idea. I think maybe our daughter turned into an elephant or something tonight. I don't know. Carol is in the house. Nice to see you. Hike with Mike. I like seeing your name show up. David Evans. Hi. You too. Nice. Nice crew. I just want to bring this up. Russell says that Dennis's show is really good tonight. Lots of good info. If you ever want to go winter camping, which I am dying to do. I think 2022 is going to be my year. In fact, it's funny because I had pinged Kevin. There was something he said in one of his. Oh yeah, he did a video where he was showing several hot tents or several winter tents, and he said that all of his tents were had no floors in them. And so I pinged him. I said, "Are you free for a chat, like Sunday or Monday or whatever? I want to sort of scoop out your brains about winter tents, because we have family friends, the husband of whom grew up winter camping, and he's like, you gotta have a tent with a floor in it, and like." I think Adrenaline Adventures has one that has a zip-in floor, but I not like I see them being sold, but I don't see many people on YouTube having them. But then I want to go back to what I said a while ago about how YouTube looks like it homogenizes the bushcrafters a little bit, right? Everyone's sort of getting a variant on the same stuff. So I wanted to, anyways, yesterday was a very high octane day for me. Sunday was very, well, Saturday I played a gig and I'm not as young as I used to be. So Sunday I was like, I was a wreck. Anyways, I'm going to try and call him up at the end of the week, maybe. Excuse me. Russell wants to get some moccasins. You know, Russell, I put the Lure of the North moccasin kit on my Christmas list, but that's not going to happen this year. I hear, though, that Lure of the North will be stopping making those. So if you want to get them, you better jump on that. What I'll probably do is jump on that in January. David Evans is looking forward to winter camping in Florida starting next week. That's not exactly what I was talking about. Hey, Simon. Comment ça va? Welcome to the live stream, monsieur. You guys are not talking about the kind of winter camping I'm talking about, but you guys are funnier than me. Tim says, I want to go camping on the beach this winter. No one camps on the beach in the winter here. Californians are hooses. So what I want to talk about tonight is very simply, well, it's in the name, like solitude, friendship, outdoor pursuits. And it's sort of, it came from a conversation going on, as I said, over at Russell's Discord the other night. Or was that last night? No, it was the night before, I think. And it reminded me of something that happened at work fairly recently. I'm not going to tell you where I work, but I will say that I work fairly closely with a team in our Orléans office, our Orleans office, I guess. Let's call it that. Now, Orleans is a small town, about, I guess, an hour or two outside of Paris. And so I work closely with these guys, but we've only ever seen each other the way I've seen you guys, or those of you who I've seen like on screen, right? I've seen these guys over Teams and we work closely and we've been working together really well and stuff. And about a month ago, one of them became unavailable for, I'm going to sneeze, right? It's this basement, I tell you. So yeah, about a month or two ago, one of them stopped responding to emails and stuff, and so I pinged some friends, and they said, "Well, he's not feeling very well and everything," and then he died. And I was like, I don't know how to process and mourn the death of someone who I've worked well with and closely with and chatted with and talked about family with and stuff, but who I've only ever seen through a screen. You know, like if it's someone who's been in your space, you know, and you've shaken hands, and you've drunk, you know, had beers together, and you know, that kind of thing. It's the way forward is much, much clearer. But I think we're living in a world now where even after the plague lets go, I'm a YouTuber, and some of you are YouTubers, and some of you are on the voice chat at Russell's Discord. Some of you have met each other, but for those of you who like me haven't actually physically been in the same space as any of these people, like it can be hard to make it clear that your morning is real when it's someone you've never. And I don't mean just to other people. I mean to yourself. To make that morning real when it's someone you've only ever spoken to digitally. And it reminded me of a YouTuber named Effie Jr., who, I mean, his channel is still up, but he died a lot of years ago now. He went through cancer, and I was talking to him. I was up on a ladder. I was trying to clean out the gutters or something, and he pinged me, and so we're chatting, and I'm at the top of this ladder, and he tells me that he's just gotten again, he wasn't feeling well. I was like, hey man, I hope you're okay, blah blah blah. A few weeks later, terminal cancer diagnosis, and I said, okay dude, I'm on a ladder, I just shut up for a second, let me get off the ladder. And then I went and I sat down and we talked it through, and that one was a little easier to deal with because we'd never really seen each other. Zoom wasn't a thing yet, Teams wasn't a thing yet, StreamYard wasn't a thing yet. And here's the thing, we're social people. We're social creatures, and for some people that, I see, I'm getting to the point now. I wasn't just trying to mope through the whole live stream like, the point gels with the conversation. It was just like an off the cuff suggestion over at Russell's, is the fact that for some people, camping, car campers or whatever, is getting a 2-4. All your buds are getting 2-4s. You all meet up at the campsite and drink yourself silly, squirt some gel into the wood, and light a fire that way, kind of thing. And it's essentially a tailgate party. And for some people, it's a fundamentally solo experience. And does that extend to the amount of time you spend interacting with people this way, or on the Discords, or on, I have some subs and now friends who I talk to using Signal. So what I want to know is, I've lost track of how to put this. I had it like down pat and it's just gone. But if you're someone who prefers to be solo in the woods, well, first of all, are you? All opinions are fair here. Are you someone who prefers to be in the woods solo? But when you're sitting in front of your computer, is it the flip side? Are you sort of always online and chatting with people, or are you always sort of like, messaging and FaceTiming and stuff? Or does your desire to be solo in the woods extend into the rest of your life? Oh, and vice versa. If you're someone who likes to hit the woods with your buds, or to you, camping just ain't camping with your whole family with you or whatever, does that extend into socializing online or in person? Like, do you hunt out people you've met online to interact with? I don't mean hunt out in a creepy way. I mean, do you meet people? I have now physically met one person who I met through YouTube. I would like to meet more, once the once the plague dissipates, I hope to meet at least one or two of you. But I'm someone who likes to be in the woods with my family, glamping and all that stuff, because it's getting in the woods, and I like showing my girls, the wonder of the natural world and stuff. But I'll tell you something. I am someone who treasures his solitude. Absolutely. By the way, all that mess behind me is because that room we just finished painting and stuff, and all that crap there. It's not really slobbery. It's just stuff that has to be put back. So no judgment. Okay. Hey, you know what? Before I go too far, I just want to catch up with the side chat here because I feel like I've been ignoring you guys. Tim in the house. Nice to see you. Canadian, I don't know exactly what brought that conversation up, that comment up, but that's weird. Hike with Mike says, I did winter camping last night. It was freezing for me. It was in the 50s Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is, but that doesn't sound like what you guys freeze at 32, right? For you guys, 32 is cold. For us, 32 is hot. So I don't know what that would be. Somewhere in the high teens, I guess. Oh yeah, we're right back to Russell wearing moccasins and me saying, yeah. I went too far back. Sorry, guys. Marcus, hi. Good old Marcus. Bill Kurtz, how's it going? Nice to see you. Yes, cancer definitely sucks, David. Absolutely. Cannot believe how many people it's cancer's killed a lot of people I know. And so I extrapolate out to all the people who know people, and I think, man, it's gotta be just carving chunks out of certain people's lives. Lipstick Lodge says, and that's one of the reasons why I won't get jabbed. They say jabs can bring your cancer back on. Well, I mean, that's an opinion. I'll take almost any jab that comes. Hike with Mike says, this is interesting. I download all my videos. I don't want upload to YouTube on a USB. My wife and my buddy Campfire Steve have the USB, and I told them upload all that stuff after I'm gone. Nice. Yeah, what Tim says is a friend is a friend. Never met you, but I've spoken to you on Russ's Discord and here in writing. Sharing a conversation, still sharing and being friendly with a friend. I think so too. It feels really weird, like, yeah. Canadian says, with the invention of the internet, it creates the opportunity to become friendly with people all over the world. And yes, one can become rather close and appreciate the other person. So it's a loss. Lipstick likes to be solo. Yeah, I do too. I mean, not all the time though. By the way, am I peaking? Is this too close? Everyone sound off as to the quality of my noise here. Okay. Hi, Fire Pit. How's it going? I love that that screen nickname. I think that's a good name. I camp solo mostly because I go when I want. I meet peeps very well en route. Yeah, there's a real freedom to not having to schedule with someone else, eh? David says that whether you meet with someone online or in the flesh, there's a connection. The connection's real. That makes that makes sense. Simo, you're right. Okay, I've met like 2 or 3, but I meant someone who doesn't live near me. Did you and I meet through YouTube? Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's true. I think it's because you've been here and keeping track of the side chat like in this room before that. I sort of, the context is different with you, and like same with LT, right? And like Serge I knew before YouTube. So I got Roper gloves. Oh, thanks. Yes, I will definitely meet you, and not just for the gloves. especially because you're close enough that I can actually just jump in my car and, you know, head over at some point. Hike with Mike also likes solo camping the most. That doesn't surprise me. There's something in your videos that tells me you like to be out there alone. Russell says, I don't want to meet anyone for real because they'll find out I'm only 5'1". Hey, are you? No, just kidding. Grace says, Colin had an archery get-together in Iowa. That must have been fun. I've only ever fired a bow once. Is it fired a bow or shot a bow? Like, not once as in I've only twanged it once. I mean, I've only had one session of shooting arrows. It's very fun. Yeah, solo kayaking? You can use your GoPro? Yeah, that's cool. That's nice. Sean in Alaska wishes they had the 50s. I don't even know what the 50s are, though. Is that like, is 50 going to be like 18 degrees or something? Charles swings in with, Russell, I thought you were 5'3". I love it. SV Raven says, I wish I could stay, but I need to step out. Okay. Oh, you're still, oh, geez. Okay. All right, Flintlock. We'll see you later. I hope for the best for you. Hike with Mike says to Sean in Alaska that he spent a month in Homer, Alaska, most beautiful place I've ever been to. I've never been to Alaska. I've been to British Columbia a whole lot, and I sort of see like the Yukon and Alaska as very much being an extension of northern BC, like the kinds of, what the hell? Oh, sorry, this Windows machine just tweeted at me and I couldn't figure out what it was about. I sort of see it. I mean, it's essentially, you know, once you hit up around there, I guess they're not all the same, but it's the kind of landscape that my time in British Columbia made me predisposed to loving. So I would love to, you know, get up there and do straddle the Alaska Yukon border for a good week. Maybe not in January though. Maybe in September or something. All right, everyone say bye to SV Raven Flintlock. I hope that all goes well for them. I'm just catching up here because I don't want to get bogged down with, you know, if I'm 10 minutes late here, I want to sort of skip ahead. Sound is good? Okay, good. Good. Deep Bay Homestead. Hi, how is it going? I almost didn't recognize you because of the name you're using here, but that's okay. Lipstick says she should bring a man so the bear will eat him instead of little her. It's funny. Sean says that 50 Fahrenheit, 50 degrees freedom is 10 degrees Canadian. Okay, good to know. It's pretty cool. But it's not like cold. I'm happy around 10 degrees. I think I'm happiest around the 15 mark. Oh no, I'm not yawning already, am I? David says, I love my me time when I can get it. A lot of people never get me time. And like I don't need like 100% me time. You know, I get pretty lonely at a certain point. But I do need a lot of me time. Just to sort of keep from going bat shift crazy. Yeah, Sharon also, she's into her me time. Yeah. I wonder how much of this is all tied up in those who are extroverts versus introverts. And I don't mean those who are shy versus those who don't, because the line between extrovert and introvert doesn't really line up that cleanly. I used to work at McGill University for the dean of the Diz Hotel Management School, whatever their business schools. I think that's what it's called. And while I was there, there was a professor who had just done a study on introverts and extroverts and how people who are introverts but are in very extroverted jobs like sales or whatever, they have to take what he was calling an introvert break every now and again. It's like sort of, disconnect, decompress. But interestingly, people who are extroverts and who are doing an introverted thing, like say writing a textbook or whatever, have to take extrovert breaks. And for him, because he was very much an extrovert, um, it could be something as simple as just opening his front door, leaning against the door jamb, and just saying hi to people who are passing and, hey, how's it going? And just having a short conversation for about an hour. I found that interesting. I'm very much an introvert, and so I need to disconnect and decompress on the fairly on the regular. And it used to be that my woods time was me taking an introvert break. I just haven't gotten to do it for several years, So, okay, 50 Fahrenheit is 10 Celsius. Everyone seems to love their me time. I don't know what Canadian's talking about here. Tim says, I don't camp much. When I do, it's usually when I'm on the road playing photographer and camp in the car alongside the beach, Death Valley, or a mountain road in the Sierras, always solo. Yeah. Now that's not a camping trip though. You're camping because it's part of excuse me. It's part of a different trip you're on. You're doing work. So I wonder if the context there makes it, like if you ever went camping for pleasure, I wonder, like, would you want to have someone along? Because of the photography can be very solo, unless you're into fashion photography. I used to know a lot of fashion photographers. But like, do you ever feel the need to sort of stop it, Jess? Do you ever need to sort of fill an afternoon with people to balance that out? Cat Mac is still deciding whether she's happy one way or the other. Used to complain of never being alone, went to work, then home with my guy who is unemployed. Now he works and I stay home. I know I think it's a personal decision to be happy. I'm still deciding. Fair enough. David Evans says, just remember when you and a friend come across a bear in the woods, you don't need to outrun the bear, just your friend. You're a brat. Oh yeah, Hike with Mike says, I need me time a lot because my job is constantly around people. As a teacher, I have 160 kids and I hate the sound of my name because I hear it multiple times every day. Fair enough. Absolutely. Charles says, never below 70 Fahrenheit, 21 C. Usually in the 80s every day. So I'm guessing the 80s are somewhere in the 30s, right? Because doesn't everything meet up again at like 40 or 41? Like minus 40 and plus 40 or something like that? Which makes it pretty hot, by the way. Like, nah. Hike says, I'm a big time introvert, but for some reason, I've always had jobs that were more fit for an extrovert. Go figure. Yeah. Please stop yawning. You're not alone in that. Like jobs, when one is being hired for a job, the introvert extrovert thing is, it doesn't really go past, are you good with people? You know what I'm saying? Um, so I'm not really surprised by that. I think a lot of people are in that kind of weird situation where, they're one and a lot of their jobs, for instance, I hope I make it to the end of my live stream. I don't remember what I was saying. Canadian says, I've been in minus 52. It was not fun. Was that minus 52 Canadian or minus 52 freedom? And of course, Russell, I was 52 for a whole year. You're not that old. Ah, Russell. Russell has a weird idea of what makes an interesting conversation. I'm hoping that Russell doesn't have a beehive anywhere near his house. Okay, so 80 Fahrenheit is essentially 27. All right. Canadian says, "Hey Jess, what would your ideal wilderness expedition be and time you'd give yourself to enjoy it?" I'd like to canoe the Mississippi at one point, or like maybe the Blood Vein. Not like really, really long. Take a week or two. Yeah, a week or two. Solo, or maybe, have one other person in a canoe for part of the trip. Like maybe we meet up halfway through or something and finish up together, or the other way around. I kind of feel that maybe it would be cool to do the first week solo and then meet up for the second week with someone else. Don't ask me who. Ray Mears, maybe. Paul Kirtley. Maybe in fall, like just when the leaves are turning, right after the bug season is over, right? So it's not too cold. If you end up with kind of a cold week, it's not like the deep freeze. Like if I went halfway through October and suddenly it dropped to minus 15 for three nights because of a freak, blah blah blah. No, it's around September. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be the Mississippi or the Blood Vein. Something northern, something up Boreal ways, if possible. Boreal Forest is my favorite chunk of. It's my favorite landscape. Absolutely, bar none. I mean, there's a lot of British Columbia that I absolutely love, like in the rainforest part and everything. But there's something about the Boreal, man. There's something about the way it sounds, about the way it smells. It's just magic, and it's huge. And the Boreal is very important in terms of oxygen and climate and keeping us from turning into a ball of fire. But yeah, I would like to journey through like a big name desert at some point, though, as well. I don't know if I would make that. I want to do an episode on desert bushcraft at one point, because everything that I know about bushcraft works here, and I get the feeling that almost none of it would work in like, excuse me, the outback in Australia. Well, maybe some of it would there, but like crossing the Sahara, I'm not going to collect firewood. Just whap out some kindling, a little tinder. Get some nice maple or ash logs for a good hot fire that lasts all night. There's no way. There's nothing but sand and like scrub and like dung beetles. So I would love to. Okay, I want to take the question a little further. Bucket list. Bucket list is definitely South Africa. This is the savannah. Do it like I love Ray Mears though, not sort of a high end $30,000 safari, where everything is carried to it. No, I want to. I want to be safe, but I want to experience the savannah, not the hotels. I would like to point out something very important that David just said. Desert bushcraft would be a very dry topic. Tim says, "Come to Death Valley, Jess. Cross that desert. I'll go with you. Film it." Yeah, that actually, I would put that on the bucket list if I can. I don't have any pens, but I do have a computer in front of me. I just want to take note of that actually for some time in the mid-range future. WordPad. That's what it's called on Windows, right? Yes. Just taking a note of that, Tim, for the future. Oh, come on, sinuses, leave me alone. But yeah, so Canadian, like, if we're talking about desert, if we're talking about like bucket list level, man, South Africa, or I guess anywhere in the African sort of savannah section, Sweden, that's like my dream bushcraft destination. Canoeing Sweden, absolutely. Like when you originally asked the question, I was thinking about where I could conceivably go realistically. Yeah, Sweden and South Africa are probably the pinnacle of where I want to be, where I want to go someday. Russell's being classy again. True fact. If you fire it out your nose, you'll stop yawning. That's called sneezing, dude. Doesn't smell the same though. When I'm on the road with my camera, I like to be completely alone through the whole trip. I usually camp in the van. Depending on the tide, I've slept directly on the beach. Nothing like it. I guess you really have to know the tides, eh? If you're going to do that. But yeah, that sounds really nice. As an introvert, Hike with Mike says, I used to be a lead singer in a band, but I have learned that a lot of actors and performers are actually introverts, and that introverts can be extroverts when doing something they like. Interesting point about that, Hike, is that I'm an introvert, and the lead singer of our band is also an introvert. The fiddler is definitely an extrovert, but that really fits because a fiddle player is like the lead guitarist in a rock band, right? Very, very larger than life when he's on stage. Nah, it's not. I'm not being fair. Peter has an easier time with people than David or I do. But it's just funny because the lead singer for us is also an introvert. Lipstick says, I don't want to do the Miss and Ivy. I didn't say I could do it right now, but it's a part of, it's funny that I rattled off 2 lakes in Ontario rather than anything in Quebec that way. That was weird. Charles says his bucket list expedition is Mount Everest. I would not do Mount Everest, but there has to be something magical about just being on that peak for the 10 minutes or however long they let you stand there, look down on the mountains below you. There's part of me that thinks that would be really, really well. The thing is, that would be a very major undertaking. You're testing yourself, that's for sure. Getting to the top and getting down, after that, you'd probably feel pretty damn good about yourself, Yeah, that's a good bucket list item. It's not on my bucket list, but I could definitely see myself being interested in it. Or I would love to cross Greenland at some point, but that's not really a bushcraft trip, right? That's an expedition. I guess doing a bushcraft trip through the African safari is also an expedition, but yeah, I wonder why I see those so differently. That's weird, right? David says, I like being with my three favorite people, me, myself, and I. Are you a dad, David, by any chance? Canadian says, I just watched a river camping 6-part kayak series on the River Kings channel. Pete makes fantastic videos. Check him out. I think you will enjoy River Kings. I have heard that said to me before. So I will take note and hope that I don't lose the file. Try Okefenokee Swamp. Paddle with gators. No. 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 I'm not even afraid of the gators as much as I'm afraid of the bugs that you must have down there. Oh, I see. I accidentally jumped backwards. Oh. Okay, there we go. Joshua Tree. Yeah, that would be cool too. And then, of course, Russell says, I'd like to visit one of those research bases in the Antarctic. You know, it's funny. I would actually like to visit one of those. I'm never sure if you're serious or not. But that must be really cool. I have a real appreciation for, or a real yen to see places that are fundamentally different than where I grew up. I have wanted to see Morocco, for instance, for ever since I was a kid. I think like when I was 5 or something, I saw a picture of some caliph's house or something, that sort of whatever they're made out of, the light blue paint. And I was just like, I got to go there someday. And I've had a real yen to see that place ever since. Yeah, coupled with the fact that I think that graphically Arabic is just a beautiful language. I love the look of it. I'm just trying to catch up here. Kayak. Lipstick Lodge says kayak in the San Juan Islands. That would probably be really cool. Yeah, well, there you go. In fact, hike, that's kind of what I was getting at, is like something that's as different from where I grew up as possible is always going to enchant me because it's outside of my experience in such a big way. David says, if I go to South Africa, go to the Kruger National Park and do on a safari, or try the Serengeti in Tanzania. Yeah, Kruger National Park is probably what I've been thinking about. Bounce through the dust in a Land Rover. Camera, huge lens. Or maybe a 375 Holland and Holland. Hey, that could get political fast, so we're just going to... Fab Online says, hey, Eddie, just heading for bed, but I wanted to say hi. How's it going? Sleep well. I don't think I'll be up much. Let's start that sentence again. Take 2. I don't think I'll be up much past my own live stream tonight. I'm feeling a little droopy here. Yeah, that's a good point. You need to have some stuff with you, I think, to exist in the desert. Spear's good, by the way. Hey, where's Outdoor Dauber? Man, where's he been for the past few weeks? David Evans has a different kind of road trip on his bucket list. He wants to do Route 66. You're not the only person. I've heard that before. Kiki says, what bucket list of mine is... Oh, come on, man. Orca Island in the Pacific Northwest during the migration of the whales. Pacific Northwest is a magical place. I have terrific memories, but I don't know where Orca Island is. But I will tell you, the orca is one of my 3 favorite animals. Orcas Island in the Strait of Georgia. But now, is I know the Strait of Georgia well, but is it all in Canada, or does the Strait of Georgia go down into like Washington State? Like, is Orcas Island? Okay, so it's in the corner of San Juan County, Washington. Okay, so the Georgia Strait goes down. All right. Have they renamed the Georgia Strait to the Salish Sea or something? Am I getting that right? Orcas Island. Interesting. I'm gonna leave that Wikipedia page open. Cat Max says Roland Bana completed the first solo unsupported crossing of Death Valley in summer. The Frenchman walked the 290 kilometers in 5 days and 7 hours. Finishing on August 8th, he pulled a cart that initially weighed 155 kilos, most of it 110 liters of water. Well, that cart was probably a lot lighter by the time he got to the end. Oh, I love this. Hike with Mike says, introverts make the world go round. Extroverts just take credit for it. Oh, that's so bitchy and so beautiful. Canadian says, Dave is alone tonight, so he's probably happy. Yeah, Russell, I did I was scanning through the Discord while cleaning the kitchen and stuff. And I did see that you guys got an update. They're expanding their service in your area in starting in January. That's good. Because weren't they saying middle of 2022 before? Like with Mike likes Okefinoki. Am I pronouncing that right, guys? Charles's parents took a 3-week African safari. Now, here's the thing. Me too. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I'd also love to see the north here. Simone says he'll be on an expedition early next year. My employer plans to fly me to, I don't know what KS is. Is that Kansas? Does that count as an expedition? Is it Kansas? David Evans, you maybe, even if your kids are an adult, if you're a dad, you can do the dad jokes. And I picked up a dad joke there, which is why I asked. So here's the thing. Like, hold on. I need to do something that I forgot to do. Here's the thing, though. Like, there's a lot of really cool bucket list trips that you guys have mentioned. But do you want to do that solo or with people? Right? Like, because I have this really big canoe trip that I want to do, right? Planned. But I want to do it alone. You know, I don't want to do it with someone. I'm trying to do something here, guys, and it's not working, so I'm just going to ignore it. And like that might partly be that I don't want to drag someone along without being sure that they're into it, or I'm not entirely sure why. But hold on, guys, I'm just getting lost here. Sorry. This is really pro. I have too many windows open. Where was I? I want to hide that comment. Solo. Equith Mike says solo, yeah. David, you're chilling in a hotel in Orleans with lousy internet. I wish I had a beer. Is that the Ontario Orleans or the France Orleans? Or should I say, so are you in Orleans or Orléans? Russell says, if I went on a canoe trip, I'd have to go with someone else who knows what they're doing. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hmm. David Evans wants to convert a van into a camper and visit every nook and cranny in Canada and the U.S. I would like to see, what's it called? Fire Valley? Do I have that right? The Fire Valley. I think that's what it's called. Like when we were in Arizona last, we went to, well, I did a 3 or 4 episodes on that trip. We saw like Red Rock Canyon, we saw the Grand Canyon, we saw the Hoover Dam and everything, but there's a lot of other stuff to see. I don't ever want to see Las Vegas again, but so much crazy beautiful stuff, like natural world stuff around Vegas, that I kind of want to go back. Boom. Okay, I'm just going to pop up Discord here for a second. Does anyone have any little anecdotes about hold on. We had 5 paddlers one morning in Okefenokee. I was in the back getting my camera out, so all of a sudden I saw 2 knuckles come out of the water. At the other 4 wait for me, and the knuckles went below. What the hell are knuckles? What the hell are knuckles? Like, I've never even heard of such a thing. Or maybe I have. Tim says, the most fascinating thing I ever did in my life was hitchhike across the country at 21. I slept in some crazy places. I was alone and left my folks' house at 2 a.m. with $100, 1980. Wow. These days we'd be like, that is not safe. But there's something about the world back then, I guess, eh? Just give me one little sec. I need to do this. Piss off. Sorry, guys. I'm getting like all distractified by stuff here. It's a terrible thing to do while you're live streaming. 5 minutes to 10. So, does anyone have any like camping anecdotes, solo or with friends, that they want to tell? I could let you come up briefly to tell your story. If you do, let me know. Oh, knuckles are gator's eyes. Okay. Okay. I did not know that. I hiked a very small amount of the Bruce Trail, just for a day when my family and I we rented a cabin on Georgian Bay. Hi, Russell.
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh, just fine.
No, it's all right. Good. You're doing great.
Hey, how do you, can you,
Maybe.
do you have to pay StreamYard to do that team thing, or or can you do that?
I don't know. I will. Can I check now or no? I guess I have to check after, eh? Because I
Yeah,
don't see a
check
link.
after.
I'll check after.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I would love to pay StreamYard for. Like, for instance, getting more than 720 um, display, but like you have to pay for the second tier for that. And StreamYard, by the way, ain't cheap. So, so I ain't doing it.
What is it, like 20 a month or so?
Yeah, US 20 or 38 US. I think it's 28 US a month. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. And not one time at band camp stories. Yes, that's true. That film is like, it's a classic at this point. Tim Kege says he'd like to do the Appalachian Trail.
I
Also,
like to do that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like that's a big investment of time and energy.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know if I can do it. And I think the only way you can really figure that out is if you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I with Mike says yes. Oh, I see. You guys are talking to each other about the gator eyes. Yeah, I didn't know they were called knuckles. That is not something I would feel safe. If they popped up right next to my little kayak or whatever. I do want to check something here. Okay, we're doing all right. There are 13 people watching. I have 15 thumbs ups. All right. I don't have to harangue you guys.
It's a bit of a slow night. Usually we have like 20 people watching.
Well, I just figure it's because I'm not bringing the energy. I need to bring the energy.
Well, you're just by yourself on screen all this time, so.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great, Russell. But yeah, does anyone have any little camping anecdotes that they want to tell Russell and me? Or come up?
Camping anecdotes?
Well, I've been thinking about this whole sort of like solo versus friends. As I've been sort of talking about, like, in terms of just chatting to each other online or meeting up with friends who do, with whom you have the outdoor pursuits in common, or the off-grid thing in common, or the homesteading thing in common. But there's also, like, when you do these things, do you want to do them alone, or do you want to have people around to help you out, or to enjoy with you? And it's an interesting question to me because of the fact that I'm so introverted. I think I said in an earlier live stream that the entire reason why I was an air cadet was because I was so shy that somebody could walk up to me in the corner of a party, ask me a direct question, and I couldn't answer them, And I love it, David. It's only introverts here tonight because nobody's saying me. But like, I find questions like that interesting. Like, questions that sort of hint at what makes people go are always interesting to me. That's the end of a
good
glass
job
of beer.
I once inadvertently did some winter camping. I went camping in April in the Kawartha Lakes area here in Ontario, which is, I guess, just north of here.
Mm-hmm.
And I planned it well in advance, but when I got there, I was like, it was going down to -10 that night, so it was really cold. But so I don't do a lot of camping, but I think it would have been more fun if somebody else was there, because otherwise you're sitting there and you can enjoy nature and all, but I think it'd be nice to share it.
Right. Yeah, and like, how often do you see something and immediately think, geez, I wish City Girl was here to see that, or something? I mean, we all get that kind of thing every now and again.
Yep.
Kind of wonder what it is that makes one person an introvert and one person an extrovert. Like, is it a life experiences thing that, kind of damage one person and not the other? Or, I mean, I don't know. Like, there are people who are not embarrassed to do TikTok dances on sidewalks in New York City, kind of thing. You wouldn't catch me doing it. Well, first of all, because I frickin' hate TikTok dances. But, I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you would catch me doing. Even when I used to run like a vlog channel at, which is just my name, sometimes I'd be walking down the street, with the camera on a gimbal or whatever, and I'd be talking to it, and like, I'd realize what I'm doing all of a sudden and get really embarrassed and sort of put the camera down. Some people just they don't ever feel that. They just go for it. They dance in public. They sing with the windows down.
Well, I tell you what, I'm a furious introvert as well. But did you see the video where I was dancing alongside that blow up thing?
Yes.
That was hard as hell to do, to get out there and do that. And this busy road in Belleville, like cars going up and down, like constantly. It's like
Yeah.
I'm out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Hard as
Yeah,
hell to do, and I had to talk myself into doing it.
I love it. I love it. You know, Hike says that solo is always better, but it's always cool to bring a person out into the woods who has not experienced the joy of nature. That's an interesting thing that Hike just said, because that's a real crapshoot, right? Sometimes you bring someone out into the woods and you're doing the camping thing or the bushcraft thing, and they just fall for it. But sometimes you bring someone out into the woods and they're just not feeling it. And like, how do you play that if you when it like you've planned an entire weekend or something and the person is just hating it? Because that brings you down as well, right? That brings the whole energy down.
Uh huh.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, me neither. I like having the questions more than I really need the answers, though, I think. Tim says, I like the quieter solo. With friends, depends on how many. With a lot of people, no way. 2 to 4 friends, okay, until I have to babysit. I don't even know if I would go as far as 4. I think 2 friends is like maybe the max I would put up with.
Like for people, they have to be the right people, the right kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want someone who's kind of, it's terrible to say it this way, but you don't want like 3 people who are like clued in and one who's dead weight, right? You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? He doesn't know
Yeah,
what I'm
or
saying.
it could be simple things like one guy who wants to sleep in till 10 a.m. every day. When
Yeah.
you guys are everybody else is up early and making breakfast and coffee and ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point too. Um, one of the guys I used to hunt with, who is my stepfather-in-law or whatever, he was talking about a trip where they had a guy where one of their friends brought a work friend who'd never gone hunting before, and it was like, the whole damn time the guy was like, okay, so what do we do now? And he's like sort of stepping through the forest, farting up a storm, belching up a storm, not being quiet at all, and the rest of the guys are like, oh, this is not going to work. That's like, to a certain extent, if you're going to be in a group situation, camping or hunting or anything where there's a certain amount of skill involved, it's good to know what everyone's skill levels are, just in case you get caught out for any reason. Like, I feel that reducing the unknowns as much as you can is a good way to ensure success when you're with other people. It's the kind of thing you don't have to worry about when you're alone, right? I know what I can and cannot do. I will do my damnedest to not overstep my bounds in the woods in that way and try to do something that I don't have the skill for. I have no idea if like there's 3 of us and someone brings a friend. I'm always going to be a little stressed about that. I kind of feel that to me that like if I'm going to do it non-solo, I want like 1 person with me. I can handle 2 people with me. 3 people with me, it gets a little crowded. Like my enjoyment of the woods and all that starts to be reduced.
I think you could probably find that one person that you have a good time with out in the woods, and then just stay with that person. Every time you go out, says, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
let's go."
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like living with somebody, you know? You could be good friends with somebody, but then you start living with them and like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But you find somebody you can live with and you're golden.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's a good point. Someone who, here's a thing. um,
Here's the thing.
here's the thing. I say that too much, right?
Not too much. Just the right amount.
I used to have a roommate. Well, my buddy Robin, who's been in these side chats before, uh, we were roommates at one point. And I remember one morning, I was sitting there doing my usual silence before the second cup of tea thing in the morning, right? And I had a girlfriend at that point. And this isn't a like girls don't understand thing. No, this is specific to this person. Every morning I would be sitting there at the table and she would try to engage me in conversation. And one morning Robin said, "Why are you talking to him before his second cup of tea?" Because like he and I would just sit there in silence until the second cup of tea, and then I'd be like, "Okay," and he'd say, "So," and the conversation would start then. But he just knew, and I never even had to mention it. And I feel that if you can find someone to camp with who's that clued in to your own little like foibles, maybe, then I think you found someone magical, and that's who you go with. David says, last time I winter camped, I was a scout leader. We built a Quincy hut and froze our collective butts off. I remember. Oh, and Hike with Mike says, I got lost deep in the Jumper Creek swamp years ago. Even the Forest Service got lost trying to find me. I wonder how many taxpayer dollars got spent on that trip. But David, I remember winter camping with cadets years and years ago. We had these Canadian Forces issue Arctic tents, the type where they're. I don't know if they had a floor or not, but they were the type that you sort of piled snow up the side of for insulation. And our squadron 2IC was. Hold on. Canadian says. Number one rule: don't camp with arseholes. I'm trying to show that, but I don't. Oh, another moderator handled this. Perfect. Okay. I don't know why I try to jump in. My mods are pretty good. And like they had told us, like, okay, don't bundle up in clothes and extra undies to go to bed. Strip down as much as you can. Trust the sleeping bag. And our squadron second in command just didn't trust the sleeping bag. And sure enough, man, she got pulled out and sent to hospital for with hypothermia, like halfway through the night. It's like I don't remember how old I was. I wasn't yet in the age of majority, obviously, because Air Cadets, not Air Force. But it was like when they tell you something like that, a lot of people have probably figured that out through experience. And even though I hated the idea of stripping down to my undies and then climbing into a cold sleeping bag, the fact is, I just did it. I just trusted the knowledge. And I kind of think that, and this goes back to what I'm saying is like I don't want to camp with three guys, two guys plus the friend of one of them, because I don't know if the friend of one of them is the type to trust the knowledge or the type to crawl into the sleeping bag bundled up to the nines, sweat, and get pulled out and sent to hospital halfway through the night. Like, don't ruin my forest time with your own stupidity, kind of thing. That makes it sound like I'm like this wicked forest expert, and I'm not. I don't mean to make it sound that way, but it's like
you're a bit of an asshole.
Fucking right. But it's like I just feel that if you're not camping at a campsite, there's a skill level involved. And I am not an expert, and I could go camping with many people and be the least skilled person there. But I'm not going to be stupid, right? For two reasons. A, because I don't want to die. And B, because I don't want to ruin it for everyone else. Like no matter what, I always try to be a productive member of the group. That means I do a lot of cooking at hunt camp. But like you find what you can to help out and be a good, because it's not just you in that case. It's you and other people, and you're all supposed to be cooperating to make the trip a success. Because,
Yeah.
as David says, camping in a large group is awkward. Hold on a second. I'm just going to sort of catch up with a lot of talk about Maine in the side chat. I would like to camp Maine at one point, or paddle Maine.
I think when you come here, you're gonna go camping, right? Overnight, out there somewhere.
I'd like to, yeah.
Yeah, you're going solo.
Yeah.
Well, I figured you'd want to, right?
At like 3 a.m, I'll be scratching at at that balcony door of yours, saying, "I'm cold and I'm hungry."
Oh, I'm not gonna show you how to get back.
I'll just pitch my tent on your dock. Roll out 5 a.m. to take a
if
pee and fall into the pond.
if you point the camera in the right directions, people won't know that you're right next to a cabin.
Right.
Like, I'm here in the wilderness on a
Solo trip in Northern Ontario. Tim says, I can talk to anyone. I can act dopey in public and dance on a table. If someone asks me about that, I seem to crawl under a rock. I don't want to speak of it. Yeah, that's understandable. I'm a bit like that too. Like, there's a lot of stuff that if someone starts to ask me about, I'll shut up. Don't ask. Just leave me alone. There's a good. Okay, Hike with Mike says solo camping and camping with friends are two different experiences. Solo camping is almost spiritual. Camping with buddies is just good times and goofiness. Absolutely. I mean, depending on the context, but that's if I was to simplify things massively, I would say pretty much the same thing. I think.
Well, I guess it depends. Like if you're when you're solo camping, like what are you getting out of the experience? Just being in the wilderness, just smelling the air, looking at the trees, uh,
Yeah,
communing with nature.
pretty much. Forest bathing, as the Japanese say.
Oh, David asked how many people have gone missing at Raspberry Rock. Well, every now and then, somebody, you know, who doesn't know anybody, somebody will say, "Well, how many bodies are out there in the pond?" And I tell them, 6, but only 2 of them are mine. Sort of thing.
You're kidding, right? Cat Max says, I do not even make eye
Yes.
contact with my guy before he's poured coffee, and maybe not even until 10 a.m. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Is Charles? All right. Good night, Charles.
Good morning, Charles.
Good morning. Right. Okay, Simone says that the forest is 5 and 10 person Arctic tents are no floors. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. I think it was the 5 person. Like, I think they were the round ones, right? Those are 5, aren't they? I don't even know if they still use the same tents as they did back then. Looks like Lush says I got to get an axe. Well, yeah, of course I need to get an axe. Oh yeah, there's David. How many persons have gone missing? No, Grace, that's not cheating. Solo camping with a dog? No, you're still solo camping.
Oh
The,
yeah,
the,
dogs are great because they're not going to sit there going, "Hey, oh, yeah." They're just going to
yeah,
enjoy nature too.
yeah. You're gonna run around. Hike with Mike misses hiking with his basset hound. I how do you guys deal with Windows like going boop and showing you like virus and threat protection, Defender summary? Shut up, leave me alone. I don't need all
If
these little
if it
windows popping open all the time.
yeah if you're using free antivirus, then that's that's the trade off.
Yeah, it's whatever's the built-in Windows one. Um,
Yeah.
I would love to get a dog and take it out on the bushcraftings. It would probably be really good for my sub levels, actually. Get a dog, go bushcrafting, bake a whole shitload of bacon. Oop, shift load of bacon. Watch my sub levels go through the roof. Swing a big honking axe. Yeah, I never had a basset hound. I had a corgi and I had a husky. Haven't had a dog in years and years and years. Do miss it. I forgot to ask what everyone was drinking. Anyone having a drink with Russell and me right now? How come I didn't ask what everyone's drinking? Jeez, what the hell's wrong with me?
I'm having a
Budweiser.
A beer. I'm having a beer because it made Bud wiser.
Oh, really?
So it should work for me too, just fine.
Jeez. It took me a second there. Oh, okay.
I don't have my fan here, so I can't do the getting blown by a fan joke again.
Yeah. David says he's going to postpone his official visit to Raspberry Rock until the inquest is over.
Dang it. I was going for 7.
Dang. Hike with Mike is having Natty Light. Is that bougie like Natty?
Blue collar Mike.
Yeah. Tim says, being solo in the wilderness or on a beach, I like to listen. Outdoor sounds is peaceful. Like tonight, I'm going out late for a satellite launch nearby. I hope no one else is around so I can just listen. Yeah, and that's fair too. One thing I do a lot of when I'm not with anyone else out in the woods or lakeside or whatever is I just sit there and listen. I'll stare into the fire for hours, or before dark, I'll just listen to the birds and stuff. Look at the water. Enjoy the smells. I'm really good at just sort of quieting down when I'm alone in the wilderness.
You know what else is maybe part of this conversation is you look at how people live in their day-to-day lives. Like you live in a concrete jungle and you go to an office building every day, or I don't know, maybe you do construction. It doesn't really matter. And you get out in the bush that one time a year, and yeah, you want to sit there, and maybe you don't want a friend with you. You just want to sit there and listen and look and drink it all in.
Yep.
Right. I live out here anyway. I was like, if I camped out in the bush here, I'd probably want a friend just to yak with because
you're not missing the experience.
Yeah. God, I hope I'm not desensitized to, this environment. It's kind of sad.
We always get desensitized a little bit to where we live. Like I live in what some people think is the greatest city in Canada. Some people don't think that. But to me, it's just where I live. There are certain parts of downtown Montreal I like. There are certain parts I don't like. But I'm inured to a lot of the things that draw people to this city because I grew up here part-time for a lot of that. But I mean, the fact is, and I'm a Montrealer, so I'm completely inured to the things that attract people to this city. Except the bagels. You gotta love the bagels. You gotta love the smoked meat. But you go to New York and you're all freaked out about, oh my land, this is so great. But someone who's grown up in Brooklyn doesn't feel that. And I find this very significantly with people who grow up, like from babyhood to adulthood, rurally. How like what I find magical. Oh my land, there's a moose. They're like, yeah. And that moose was there 2 days ago. Like I went to do a moose hunt. Well, I've gone to do a couple of moose hunts out in the Gaspé, and my wife has a cousin who owns a tree farm out there. So we, set up shop on his tree farm. The first time I was there, man, it's a dark sky zone. So the first time I was there and the sun went down because Mr. wishes he'd been an astronomer, I looked up and I was knocked on my butt by what I saw above me. Absolutely knocked on my arse. And his reply was, "Oh yeah, you like j'aime ça des astres? You like the stars and planets and stuff?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" and he never looked up. He doesn't look up, and I'm like, I would be walking into stuff because I would just like have my head up in the, and that was where, um, I remember this so well, and I've said this before, but a lot of the people in the side chat haven't heard this because this was before a lot of them came to me through you. One night while we were there, and it was like minus 15 or something, and I left our little hunt camp, which was whatever a roulotte was in English. You know those trailers that you camp in. You know, a little trailer with
Oh,
two wheels, a camping trailer, camper
camper.
thing.
It's a camper.
Little door on it, little kitchenette.
Yeah.
We had one of those. We popped the wheels off and stuck it there on blocks, and that's where we slept while we were hunting. And I left to go and take a pee, and I walked like I'd say about 500 meters away, took a pee, turned back, and it is like it's a dark sky zone, right? So the sky is dark, dark, and just slightly darker is the outline of the trees, and under those there was like even darker, just the shape of the trailer a little bit. I could sort of see with the glow, the orange glow in the windows. And as I turned and started walking back, a shooting star crossed just over the roulotte, Jesus, the trailer, and disintegrated. And the thing is, in Montreal and in Toronto and in Vancouver and in Seattle and Dallas, you see a shooting star, it's like this little smudge that goes and it's gone. But in a dark sky zone, I could see like the roiling flames of this thing, and then it went and just like I could see it do this. I'd never seen that before. And again, I just sort of sat down on my arse for a second to take in what had just happened, because I had never grown up with that kind of star-spangled sky after dark because of light pollution and stuff. And he just never looked up. And so that's why I'm sort of saying, like, you might be a little inured to where you live, but I mean, there's a reason you live there, right? We always become a
Oh
little
yeah, yeah.
inured, but it's just if you don't become that inured, then you're still on the wind side, you know.
Yeah, let me tell you how nice it is to have zero light pollution out here.
Oh, I can hardly. It's Hey, Pine Martin's here. Martin, I'm gonna be rewatching Dennis tomorrow because my watching got cut short by a family uproar. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing that show again. Um,
It was good. Yeah.
oh, Cat Max says she loves fire starting and bird watching. I like both of those. The bird watching I only discovered this year. I love it. I love it. Fire Pit says off grid cabin with a disco ball. Now that is a great name for a channel. Russell will be changing his channel name in 5, 4, 3.
Jesus, is it that easy?
Hiker Mike says, don't take a dog on swamp trails in Florida. Alligators love dogs. Ironically, the only time I saw a dog survive an alligator attack, it was a basset hound. Lipstick Lodge says something interesting. There's usually no sound here where I live, only the creaking of a tree when the wind does blow. And that was one thing that I found enchanting about Hunt Camp, because where we were not at where we went for the. I'm going to start that sentence again because I was tripping over myself. Not where I went for moose hunting, but where we usually went for deer hunting. Was we had another one of those trailers, but we had built sort of an extension onto it just with scrap wood, and that's where the wood burning stove was and everything. And I think my favorite part of camping was the lighting the fire, crawling into bed, turning off the lights, and having the world go absolutely dark. And the sound of that world are so different than the sounds of this world, because it wasn't silent. We have this concept that it is absolutely silent, but even as Lipstick Lodge said, there's the sound of the creak of the trees outside. There's the sound of maybe a wolf pack in the distance, calling to each other. There's always some sound, but the sounds of the natural world we kind of think of as silence, just because it's not as obnoxious or grating. I mean, Russell, you must have, but again, like I've become so inured to the sound of traffic going by my house, even at like 3 in the morning, that it doesn't keep me up. You know,
You,
like Russell, how aware are you of the sounds of the outside world at night? In
um,
Rus
you. Well, I live in a fairly well insulated cabin. The sounds at night aren't really that
Hmm.
loud, but the interesting thing though is that, different times of the year you get lots of different kinds of sounds, right? In the spring when the peepers start out in the early spring, and then suddenly it's the bird season, and you hear birds all the time, and then at nighttime you hear the whippoorwills kind of start blasting away, and
Okay,
then there's frog season, and there's like a dozen different types of frogs, and they'll kind of take their turn, like croaking.
right,
This group of frogs start croaking, and then this other group of frogs, different kind of frogs, will all start croaking, and
yeah,
and then in the wintertime it's just wind, but
nice,
you get pretty used to it. But not
yeah,
I don't mean used to it in a bad way. I don't mean desensitized to it. It's all good.
it's all good. Lipstick Lodge is originally from Winnipeg. I'm not from Winnipeg, but I spent my formative years in Saint Boniface, which is near Winnipeg.
Lip Lipstick Lodge. Her name is Linda. If you wanna.
Linda. All right. I'm never sure if it's kosher to use people's real names like in this context rather than. So I was waiting for like Colin says, call me Colin, okay? And I'm like, okay, sorry. I was waiting to see if Linda was going to do that.
Well,
Mark
that's what we
Putmans
call him,
has joined us.
Colon.
Better late than ever. You don't call him Colin, really?
Colon.
Yuck.
Colon blow.
Ah, got it out.
There's an old SNL skit, of course.
Yeah. Uh, David says, I do not think I would like to solo camp or solo travel. Honestly, I would feel intimidated being alone. Interesting.
It's solo camping is not for everybody. Like solo camping is. I tell you what, when I first came here to the property, my first overnighter here was in a tent, and like getting into that tent at night, and it's dark, and I didn't have the dogs either at the time, and
Hmm.
it's like all these sounds I'm completely unfamiliar with.
Yeah,
And
creeped
I'm
out a
not
little.
sure where I am in the world. I kind of, you know,
Yeah.
it's it can be intimidating.
Yeah,
Like you,
I think that's legit.
like
Yeah.
even when it's not dark, like you're still in an unknown place, kind of like. And some people can just sit there and enjoy it, and some people are like, shit, what's coming around the corner,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
Especially if
don't
they grew up on like horror movies or whatever. They're like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
know.
Okay, I'm not dead yet, but it's gonna happen. It's like, calm down, dude. Uh,
Horror movies.
Tim says, I think it's age too. The older I get, the more I like the idea of being solo. I don't want to miss things. I just got my kicks when I was younger around lots of people. I look back and I feel I missed.
We want different things at different stages in our lives.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Cat Mac, no, it wasn't one of the tent trailers. It's one of those ones that doesn't
It's
pop
a,
open.
I looked it up. The roulette is it's a travel trailer,
Yeah, just it's like
and it's curved.
a camper trailer kind of. Yeah, that's the kind of thing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
nice. If I can build my cabin here, if I never got a building permit, I would have bought one of those and figured out how to get it out here and just use that.
yeah. Doesn't Sean in Alaska live in something like that right now?
It's bigger than like these roulettes seem to be on the small side. His is
Yeah, yeah,
bigger. Like
absolutely.
like his has a bedroom, like a.
Okay, yeah, the ones we no, yeah.
Oh, here's a
I'm
big
just trying to
one.
catch up with the side chat because I am so damned behind.
I wish I could. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put this in Discord because this is really cute.
I love Grace's comment here. Bullfrog and cicadas. I don't mind. Nature's white noise. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Peepers.
Canadian says. Right now I'm lying here watching, and all I hear is the missus snoring.
I was gonna say peepers in the springtime. They get going as soon as it starts to get dark. They get going. They're all night long, and it's a beautiful, one of the most beautiful white noise. In fact, I think I put on the Bookshop channel. I think I put a peeper video.
I'll take a look for that because I'm not entirely sure what a peeper is.
Oh, well, it's a type of frog.
Huh? Interesting.
I can put it. I can drop a link on it.
Sure. Sure. Canadian says true story. Tim's liking the conversation. I come on every Tuesday night, Tim.
Oh,
Every single one.
Sorry, I got 5 minutes of peepers, but I also have 10 hours of thunder, peepers, and rain.
Really?
Here, I'll put the I'll just put the 5-minute peepers. That's funny. 5 minutes of peepers. There you go.
I'm just taking a look at the side chat over on YouTube because it's a little faster than this one. What time are we at? 22:33. We're coming down the arse end of the live stream, and I'm definitely going to shut it off at 11 o'clock tonight. I'm a wreck. I'm going to bed right afterwards.
Yeah, you say that.
It's happening this time. Oh, I made tea for tonight's live stream to keep myself awake, but I think I left it upstairs.
An hour and a half ago.
Yeah, but I put it into a thermos because I was prepared. Damn it!
So prepared. That's why it's upstairs.
Why you got to be like that?
Well, go get it.
Yeah. Okay. Be interesting for 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
I bet you only had a drum here. Anyway, let's talk about the topic I wanted to talk about. How many live bees can you stuff up your butt at one time? I gotta think probably 20. Probably 20. I don't know. It kind of depends on the method of insertion. I'm thinking like bellows, like the bellows where you're pumping your fire. Like if you stuck all the bees in there and then maybe something like that. That's what I'm thinking. If you have other delivery methods, let me know in the chat. I'd be curious. Yeah, boy, that was over really quickly. Jeez, that topic had a short life. Anyway, we should talk about what Jess is going to do when he comes here next year, when he figures out how he's going to snag all that one. Jess only lives about 4 hours away, so I'm thinking the first day he can drive here, and we can head out, hike around some good spots. I can show him a bit of the property, and he can kind of decide where he wants to. Simone's like, I'm out of here. Good night, Simone. It's like, what the hell is Russell talking about? I'm out. It was more like 45, especially if you're puckered. Dr. Bell's from my Dream of Genie? No.
Trial version.
Trial version? Oh, I can't do it. Oh, look at that. That was very much a James Bond.
That was James Bond, right? Effing right.
Anyway, we didn't talk about bees. I started to talk about...
Thank God you didn't talk about...
I started to talk about what you're going to do when you come here, at least the first day.
I hope you kept it clean. Yep. It's weird that nobody wanted to come on and tell us like little camping anecdotes with there. The guy I used to have a science podcast with has a winter expedition story that is harrowing, and that he never I've been like trying to. I want him to come on here and tell that story one night, but he won't do it because he never wants his parents to find out about it. And it wasn't his fault or anything, but it's the kind of story that I need him to come on and tell. Like, anyway.
How would his parents find out?
Well, like, that's why he never wanted to tell it on like the live stream or anything. But yeah, I don't know. I think stories are meant to be told.
Sure.
I think that telling stories, like sitting around a campfire and telling stories, is ancient. And so I always like, if someone's telling, like if I pick up that someone's ramping up to tell a story, like an anecdote or something, I just shut up and listen. And I will, I'll go out of my way to meet them halfway if the story is not really great or it sort of peters out. I'll still find a way to let them know that I enjoyed, the story as it was, because there's okay, hold on now. Now just hold on, David Evans. Just hold on now. Okay, I don't like this attitude you're giving. I think that you're hurting me, man. You're hurting me. I don't know why you're doing that.
Hey, soon it's gonna be Mr. Chaga flavored water.
Chaga flavored water. So
I put that in the mail today.
Oh, did you? Sweet. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you remembered, because last time we spoke, it's like everyone on screen except me was a little 3 sheets to the wind.
I wasn't. Yeah, I know, because I've got like Chaga crumbs all over my desk here. I'm not joking at all. I can pinch, like.
Just scrape it into a cup. Make yourself a little tea.
I know. I had a great big knife out last night.
Yeah. And like Stacy and I were like, "Oh my land!" Oh yeah, she was teetotaling last night, actually. Heck with Mike says there's something magical about sitting around a campfire with folks. People seem to be honest, and you have real conversations, and that is good medicine. It's funny how that the campfire can bring that side of certain people out, eh? It doesn't do it to everyone, but I have great memories of when I was a kid, before Expo 86, on Ambleside Beach in North Vancouver. There was driftwood, and you had the right to take the wood or bring your own or whatever and have little fires on the beach. Like you could either do it inside a barbecue, or you could just bring a log up, build a fire next to it, and have a fire right in the sand, because it was sand. It's not going to burn down, and you can't do that anymore. For Expo 86, they cleaned up the beach. They took out all the big, like it had like large driftwood logs, like from historic land log booms and stuff. But you could, start a fire. Anyway, I have great memories of sitting there on this beach in the sand and staring into a fire for. It felt forever, but
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes timeless, right? You're staring into the, I'll take a look at a fire, and then, oh wow, that was an hour. But it's not wasted time. It's like time stands still. You're not an hour older after that happens. Are you sure you didn't talk about bees? Because I just noticed this comment from Cat Mac. So I'm wondering what you were saying about bees.
She's crazy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, she's crazy.
David Evans has the good sense to be sorry for hurting me so hard, hurting me so bad, making me change my on-screen name.
Huh?
Hike with Mike says a campfire is a primeval connection to our early roots.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
fire is like the single most important invention we ever. Well, not that's an invention, but it's like fire, the wheel, beer. The rest is history.
It's funny. The beer thing sounds kind of funny, but if you're growing up in medieval Europe, you're turning all your water into beer because that's the only way you can, disinfect it before drinking.
You mean grog?
Wow, that was more of a sailor thing. But like, you know how in like 1430s England or whatever, there was like a small beer which you drank during the day, which was a very weak beer, but it had, disinfected the water. And then there was like the real beer that you would have after supper.
Yeah.
Fire will, yeah, Hike with Mike likes what you said. That should be turned into a T-shirt on one of our channels.
Fire.
When I hit
Fire.
10,000, I'm gonna bring my T-shirts back. I'm so far away from that. I've got plenty of time to redesign the T-shirts, but I'm thinking of I might just bring this design back as one of them. Haven't decided yet. Haven't decided yet. I just don't want to deal with the taxes of selling T-shirts. But anyway. Canadian says, a great tradition I witnessed at a campfire was a log dedication ceremony. At a certain time, they asked anyone who wanted to dedicate a log to someone and say a few words. It was pretty awesome. Oh, like, okay, I thought, because I was still thinking about these huge logs at Ambleside Beach. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
I think it was firewood, right?
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, yeah. They'd get a log, walk up, throw it in, and dedicate it to someone who'd passed. So yeah, we're obviously talking about firewood size logs. Apparently, Cat Max said when she lived in San Diego, they were allowed to do that on the beach there as well. Yeah, it's too bad that North Van doesn't let that happen anymore. That was real magical. David likes that design. Thanks. It's like an old style canvas tent with some trees and a moon and a little fire.
Yeah. Did you do that?
Oh yeah.
It's very nice.
I spent I thought I told you this. I spent my whole life in art school. Started when I was a wee kid at the National Gallery or whatever they called it in Winnipeg. They did weekend painting and stuff for kids, and all the way through to almost to university. Almost to university. I went through all the way to Cégep. I did graphic design in Cégep, and then I changed in university to film.
You probably told me that. I'm usually drunk when we're talking, so.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was apprenticed to a cousin of my mother's who had, as a youngster, been apprenticed to, like, I don't know, one of the two big name Quebec painters. I was going to say, geez, one of the two big ones. It was Riopelle or Bourdois. I don't remember what. But I mean, he was really young when he was apprenticed to them, like as a beginning painter. But I don't do that anymore. I did a little sketch to do a T-shirt, but I'm nowhere near as good as I was when I was actually, grooming myself to be an artist. It's not like riding a bike, Yes, exactly, David. It's a prospector's tent. I wasn't going to say it because I figured I was getting a little too jargony, but yeah. Hike with Mike says, I have off tomorrow so I can watch the live stream tonight without stressing about sleep time. Sweet. Hey, Grace is off tomorrow as well. What the heck? What is going on with you people in the being off tomorrow?
I'm also off tomorrow.
You're always off. I wish I was always off. I'm gonna buy a lottery ticket.
Just the way you said that, you're always off, is kind of like when you say the mayo has gone off, kind of thing.
Really?
That's the way you said it. You're always off.
You're always off.
The mayo's gone
flush
off.
you down the toilet.
Yeah.
We have a beach campsite near me that allows fire on the beach. Crackling fire with the sounds of the ocean, camping on the sand. Oh man, that sounds good. I wish I could
Oh,
eat more seafoods actually, because that sounds like a great way to do it. You know, you're by the seaside, you're like picking
what?
limpets or whatever.
Tell me I didn't miss a day.
Uh, Linda says, "Oh, it's Thanksgiving in the U.S. tomorrow. No, isn't that on Thursday? When the hell's Thanksgiving
Yeah,
in the States?
it's Thursday, but they're saying it's if you I guess you take another day. Did you take it
I
another day
guess
like
maybe they
Wednesday
get
and
a couple of
Friday?
days
And
off. Jeez, they get 2 days
happy
off for
Turkey Day.
Thanksgiving."
Happy Turkey
Linda
Day.
says, "I have 2 tents. I threw one out, the old one, so I can still tent it."
Go
I'm
Linda.
not
Go
entirely sure what.
Linda. Go Linda.
Mm,
Go
mm,
go
mm,
go
mm, mm,
Linda. Go
mm.
Linda. Go Linda.
Tim's off tomorrow too. What the hell? It's not they're all like Thanksgiving weekend. It's not the freaking weekend. It's not even Hump Day. Actually, tomorrow is Hump Day.
You guys, maybe they've forgotten what day it is.
Look at this. It's like the entire United States forgot what day
Well, David's in Ontario, but
uh
he's just
Linda's off
retired.
every day as well.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Linda.
I just don't know what to make of anything. Um,
If your job says you're off tomorrow, you don't argue.
Good point. Nice one, Grace. That's absolutely true.
Yep.
And so Carol is saying happy Thanksgiving to all. Whoops. Everything shifted just as I clicked. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you. I will take that as a timestamp to last October for those of us above the border.
Let me put this out there for everybody about to celebrate Thanksgiving. You can substitute your turkey with Cornish hens. Everybody gets their own little Cornish hens. You can prepare it the exact same way as a turkey. You can stuff it, and then imagine having a whole turkey all to yourself. Except it's a little, it's perfect.
And you don't have to cook it as long either, right?
Yeah, you don't have to cook it as long, and the stuffing in it is yours too. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yes.
like that idea. Granted, we made a turkey on Thanksgiving. It's hard to get over cultural inertia for something like that, because I
Yeah.
think I would be much happier with Cornish hens for everyone, but it's just like um the turkey is the baseline, right? Oh geez, Thanksgiving, just run out and get a turkey. Okay.
Yep.
If I came back with like 6 Cornish hens, I'd probably get myself bounced
Mm-hmm.
off the back balcony into the garden or something, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, one year we made
There's Carol. Hi, Carol. Sorry.
what the hell were they called? Partridges. Now, partridges look a little bit weird. They're very flat and everything. So it's like with Cornish hens, they kind of look like tiny turkeys or tiny chickens. They sort of like this, but but partridges were a lot more sort of. I don't know what was going on with that. Man, everyone's getting tomorrow off. Holy crap! Grace says next year she's roasting Cornish hen and she's going to name it Russell. I'm not sure how to take that.
That's fine.
Oh, I see what Linda's saying. It'll be easier to tent than drag my trailer out there. I got this Helio trailer to get off the ground, and now I'm thinking camper for the truck would take up less space.
I'll be right back.
Sure. I often wonder. You said while yawning. Oh wow, we're only there's 9 minutes left of this. Yeah, hike with Mike, partridges are a lot more like quail. Absolutely. Um, those those like fold out tents that go on the top of a Jeep Wrangler. I sometimes wonder what that would be like to sleep in. Like I always feel that like I'd be afraid of rolling off the roof or whatever. But when I'm sleeping in a tent, I don't really roll past the wall of the tent. Like I don't roll around that much. Yeah. Linda likes Cornish hens, but you got to put apple pieces in them. Yeah, that would make a nice flavor addition for sure. The yawning must stop, and yet the sleeping must start. So, good old tea. Tea's a good drink. Yeah, Grace, I'm talking about the rooftop tent that it goes on the roof of the Jeep and it folds out and there's like a ladder and stuff. The thing is, the Jeep itself is crazy expensive. A Wrangler, you pay way, especially because now they're making a plug-in hybrid Wrangler. That makes me want one because my wife and I are both on the same page in that we have bought our last internal combustion engine only car. But like, you put the price of a Wrangler on there and it's like, well, just throw the price of the tent on. Like I get that that's a very expensive package, but David says that I'm making him yawn now. Oh, sorry, dude. But then you called me Mr. Flavored Water Guy, so
You are. Yeah.
Tim says I should take the day off tomorrow.
Yeah, you should.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, but I'm not going to do it. Cat Max.
No. I was gonna say, yeah, Mike McQuilton has a. I'm not sure if it's a Jeep Wrangler, but he has a tent on his roof. You know, McQuilton Bushcraft.
Yeah, it's not a Wrangler; it's a Cherokee or a Grand Cherokee. But yeah,
right.
He did a whole series on like upgrades he did to the Jeep. I didn't watch any of those because I don't watch people's car videos unless it's like a Land Rover Defender. But Cat Mac, I've made beef bourguignon before. It's not hard to make, but it's hard to make without like getting the beef too like tough or whatever. Nice. Hike with Mike, you need to late on Discord with Russell. Yes, we all late on Discord. That's the problem. And then nobody sleeps.
Was that a full sentence?
No. But I mean, I'm assuming that everyone's drinking. Hike with Mike says to Cat Mac that sounds delicious. I'm the chef in our household. I'm also generally the cook in our household. Due to my wife's job, I'm the primary parent and the primary cook. And so I've been really sort of trying new stuff out over the past year or so. Man, Tim, I made jambalaya once and it was so damn good. It's so many steps, but I am gonna make it again. Thing is, I am the only one in this house who liked it because it was apparently too spicy. Freaks.
Even your wife said that?
Yeah, it's funny because for someone of the Haitian variety, she's not into spice.
So it's the opposite with us. Is like I'll say, "Holy crap, this is spicy," and she'll say, "What? It's spicy?"
Oh man, no! In our place, like she'll bring home Haitian from like Chez Renald or something, and it always comes with pickles. That's that little sort of spicy, vinegary kind of. Think of coleslaw, but like spicy and delicious. And I just like I'll just spoon that stuff into my mouth directly, if I'm allowed to, or I just pour like a big glop into my food, and I'm like, woo! She's just not into it. She's just not into it.
I think my favorite spicy thing is fries with mayo and hot sauce. You gotta dip them both, and then I know it sounds weird, but they're really good. But I can't eat spicy stuff anymore.
Oh. That would make me sad. I made a hot sauce with habaneros a few weeks ago. It started off just blowing my face off, so I added like pineapple and mango, and it was still blew your face off, but at least it was tasty. You know, it's got to be tasty. I guess Mike has a few cooking channels, videos on his channel. I would love to do. I've already said this. I just realized I've already said this. I'm going to say it again, but sorry, guys. I know I've already said this. I would like to do a couple of videos, sort of like Men with the Pot kind of thing. Not directly, not exactly, but I would like to do some cooking videos where it's really about the cooking rather than me describing the cooking or just having bacon hanging over a fire in the background. I'd really like to, do a recipe and just show the recipe. Yep. I have a video up where in fact, guys, I made a video of my jambalaya recipe. Let me see if I can find that and share it, because it's currently unlisted because I made it technically for a work related thing. Let me see if I can find it now. Shall I? Oh yes, that's what I'm gonna do. Yes. Jambalaya. And I'm kind of embarrassed about it too, because in the title sequence I misspelt jambalaya, which makes me happy, right? Boom. Okay. Hold on a second here. Just let me cancel that and find the damn video. See if I can find this and share it before the end of the freaking episode. Get shareable link. Copy to clipboard. Can I paste in my own boom. There it is. Here's my jambalaya. I gotta make that again. If you guys, yeah, okay. If you guys do want to see that video, then please right click and open it in another tab. Tea is a good drink. Okay, we are now at 2,300 hours, so I will say good night to all. Even though it's beautiful to have 15 people here, I gotta sleep. I'm dead. I gotta practice for another gig on Saturday, but I am going to bed. So between now and next week, which is when I will see you next, everybody, please be healthy, be safe, be happy. Be kind to each other. And I will see you next week. Good night, all.
Peace out.